of these days in Velomobile heaven, I'm out to climb another of those landmarks around here, Erpeler Ley, a basalt rock overlooking the River Rhine beyond the Seven Mountains. 8 kilometers into the Rhine, the cycle traffic is easing somewhat. Cycling and pedestrian. Well, one of the changes of this crisis is actually that you see way more people on bikes than you would previously have.
I have left this in here. You can never have enough pictures and views of Dragon's Rock and the River Rhine.
I'm approaching Haymarket, and to my left I have the first view of the Erpeler Ley. The rock over there, the bold rock.
Sitting in the Velomobile, I have a much better view of the rock than you have in front of the screen. Let me tell you a bit about the rock and the name of it. Ley often seems to be a name for rocks that stand out, that are like a nose, reaching high above the river. The most famous of them probably is the Ley, is a rock further upstream. Very famous. It's a very dangerous, narrow section of the river with underwater rocks. So there have been many shipwrecks, and they were attributed to the siren song of a beautiful woman combing her hair and singing to it. The Erpeler Ley, the Ley that is above the village of Erpel, has no such myths attached to it, but it has been a meeting point in the Romanticist 19th century because it has a beautiful view of the river valley in both directions, which in itself was political because in the national movements of the 19th century, the Rhine was depicted as Germany's stream, and not Germany's border to France. As we get closer, I think you get a better view of that rock nose that stands out above the Rhine. It has been a quarry since Roman times. But I believe for the past almost 100 years or 80 years, it is a nature preserve, so there is no commercial activity going on any longer. Today, tourism is what brings money, and cycle tourism is part of that. Usually, this trail in particular is one of the most busy in the country because it follows the river all through Germany, from the springs in Switzerland to the mouth into the North Sea in the Netherlands. You can ride by the river. I will give you the uncut uphill of the ride up on Erpeler Ley and the uncut downhill. So this is rather unique, also unique for my own filming. Here the climb is steep, but it is not so long, so I can actually give you the full climb without putting you to sleep. Here we are on the other side, approaching the rock again, this time from the south. Not right in the trail that I'm pointing at, but right in the road, as I mostly do. And as we approach, we will pass by another interesting monument, which is the Bridge of Remagen, the remains of it. It was a World War II strategic point when, in the last days of the war, American forces managed to cross the river by that bridge because the Nazi troops had failed to blow it up in time. See, these are the remaining pillars on the one end of the bridge. There's likewise construction on the other side of the river. So from here, the climb is beginning, and this clip is uncut until I reach the plateau. If you watch the elevation or incline readings, sometimes it's a bit strange. Sometimes the Garmin seems to need some time to adjust to the right figure, but most of the time it is pretty accurate.
Like all climbs, this one begins with a gentle climb, but it's getting steeper as we go. The road goes back and forth on the side of the mountain to get up there.
Putting the arms out for better climbing and some additional cooling here. Approaching the first turn. That motorhome was on the same ferry with me earlier. We didn't spend much time up there. As I said in another video, I believe you don't really have respect for the mountain if you haven't done the climb under your own power, whether it's by hiking or cycling. You see that the incline is still manageable. It's 6%, sometimes 5, sometimes 7 to 8. But that's nothing special. Once in the double digits, like here 12 or even more, that's work.
At least they have redone the road surface since I last was here, which is welcome, because when you're traveling at low speed, high load, up the mountain, a bumpy road is a pain.
Next turn, next swing back coming up. it's always those turns that are extra hard because the percentages tend to be higher in the turns. See this middle section, that's quite tough, and it's getting warm, and even the arms out don't provide all the cooling. So I guess it's time to take the cap off. Doesn't make that much of a change, but it feels like a change. On those climbs, I never look to the speedometer, and I don't really want to know how long the climb will still last. I just go up. I know I will get up there, so I don't worry about it. That is the steepest section here. Getting a little easier beyond this turn. On video, it looks like nothing. When you see the speed going down to 4 kilometers an hour, you know that I'm climbing hard. Nice and cool breeze from the forest. Let's look. Hiking, you can take that trail there. The shortcut. Getting a little easier there, but then beyond the turn is the final climb to the plateau. Here you see that I've pushed myself up a little bit. That helps when climbing gets hard to use your belly muscles to support the legs. See, that's where we're going, into the sky. So we made it. It's already getting easier here. Not just because the end is near, but also because the incline is a bit less. But the Garmin readings certainly are fooling us. Don't know what happened. Maybe lost satellite reception. So we're up there, and I'm just going a bit further to where the flags are, because that is where the overlook points are located. Okay, so that was the uphill. Now let's take a look around, chat with the folks up here, and then go back. So this is what you see when you stand at the overlook point. The River Rhine, the large opening at the mouth of the R, and the mountains to the left and right. I was beleaguered by other visitors all the time. It was impossible for me to get an undisturbed shot. But here's a look around from an aerial view. Now these are the 7 mountains that you see coming into the picture now. And these are the mountains on the other side. As we turn towards the west, we will see the Eifel mountain ranges. Down there, this is the town of Remagen. More Eifel mountains here, and there's the Eifel on the right and the Westerwald on the left side of the river. Going around the plateau, I stick to my promise, and I will give you the downhill back down to the village of Erpel in one uncut clip. There's a cyclist coming up. You see that he's working too. I like those downhills, but you really have to be on the alert and control your speed all the time. We're getting down to the village now, and I will show you the main street. Here's the turnoff into the village. That's pretty, isn't it?
You didn't know it before, once you're down in these villages, you know you are in Germany. This is typical, traditional Germany. This is fairy tale land. So this is about as much to end this excursion up to Erpeler Ley.